Hey, hello. Welcome to episode number 15 of the People We Love podcast. I am Adam Choid, and I think I drank a little too much last night, but we're good now. We're good. Anyway, today's guest is J.P. Brown. That's J-A-Y, the letter P, then Brown. J.P. Brown. But yeah, J.P. is a comedian, actor, athlete, thunder god, funny ninja, fit stoner, and a bionic ape. This is what it says on his website and social media. JP is originally from Toronto, Canada, and he tells me all about his life in the Toronto comedy scene and in the LA comedy scene as well. You'll hear us talk about some of his favorite comedians, including, of course, Patton Oswalt, who does finally enter the conversation right around the 26, 27-minute mark or whatever, somewhere around there. So, yeah, this conversation takes many tangents, but they're fun tangents and funny tangents. So enjoy the ride. Let's just get started. So without further ado, here's J.P. Brown. So, J.P. Brown, good to see you today, my friend.
Hey, what up, man?
How's it going?
Yeah, can't complain. Wait, are we on the air right now?
We are.
Holy shit.
Well, this is not live, but we are recording right now. How's your day been?
My day's been pretty busy, man. You know, just we're operating on like 4 hours sleep, but I got up, had to, take care of a class at like 6:30 a.m. in Marina del Rey and stuff. So I got some early training in the morning and then, running errands throughout the day, doing some writing. That's about it, man.
Yeah. What kind of class do you teach?
Right now, to keep the lights on, I'm a fitness trainer at Equinox, and
nice.
I what can I call it? I teach like a high intensity interval type class, with all sorts of exercises like body weight and resistance exercises, plyometric, cardio, all sorts of stuff.
Cool.
Just trying to prepare people for the zombie invasion.
Yeah. Why only 4 hours of sleep though?
Because I was working the circuit last night, man.
The comedy.
Just writing, mic time, workshops.
You're a dedicated man. You're a dedicated man.
Trying to stay focused. I just want to succeed at doing something I love.
That's awesome. Let's rewind. Let's go back to your birth. When were you born, and where were you born, and tell me your whole life story. Let's go. Well, maybe just your child, 0 through 18. Well, I don't even know how old you are.
It kind of sounds like a probe, or like I'm being interviewed by like Hannibal Lecter, and just like everything about me.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I always.
So,
what I've been
Mr.
telling,
Brown,
what I've been telling.
Tell me about your life in Toronto, Canada.
Right.
You used to go to Queen Victoria Public School and eat donuts off the floor.
I think that's all true, or is you making that up? Well, we're going to find out.
Like, yes.
No, what I usually do is I ask people to summarize their life in 30 seconds or whatever it is, but it doesn't really have to be 30 seconds.
No,
but
I'm just
tell me about yourself and your journey from Toronto, Canada, correct?
Yeah, Toronto, Canada. I was
to
born
Los Angeles.
Yeah, I was born in the States, in Atlanta. I remember nothing about it because after my parents got divorced, everybody from my mom's side and I moved up to Toronto, Canada. I pretty much lived there most of my life, right? And then moved down here to LA in 08, and wanted to focus on acting, and then got re-inspired to do stand-up comedy because I started stand-up in 2000, but quit in 2004, right? It was something about the scene over there I didn't really like. It was just in Toronto, Canada.
There's some clubs up there. I know that there's some notable
definitely
clubs up in Toronto.
Absolutely, there are some good clubs up there. It was just I didn't like a lot of the elitist, arrogant attitudes. I still don't.
Yeah.
Of like comics or open micers who thought they were better than they were. I didn't like that. You know what I mean?
Like there was a competitive aspect.
Yeah, and I didn't like the whole territorial aspect. I never will like the whole cliquey, sort of vibe that some comics have, where it's like we're not letting you in our circle, blah blah blah. It's like it's just. I mean, the way I see it, I see it all the time. I'm just going off on a tangent
now. Go for it,
now,
man. Go for it.
But it's like I see it all the time, and it's something I keep talking about. It's almost like there's very little to no solidarity in the comedy community. I see a lot of times, like even on or offline, I'll see comics just going at each other's throats like, oh, you're not funny here, or oh, you made this joke here, oh, blah blah blah. It's like they're just constant bickering back and forth.
Is it even comics? I mean, I do see some of this stuff on Twitter from time to time.
Oh God,
but it's comics of all levels, or like it's people who aren't super successful who have these insecurities, but even people who are successful.
No, I really don't. I mean, I normally see a lot of it in the comics at the lower tier. And I'm not going to say that I'm in the upper echelon. Sure. Of course not. I'm nowhere near that. I'm nowhere near the level I want to be at yet. But I see it a lot in the lower levels. And it's something, because I remember one time I was bartending at this, at the Oscars after party, right? And I was working, like serving, bartending for like, events and stuff, working for Wolfgang Puck and all that.
Sure.
And, I was working in the VIP section after party, so I'm seeing people like Sigourney Weaver. I'm serving people like what's his name? What's the guy's name?
Yeah, name drop all you want. That's what I tell all my guests.
Yeah, right. What's his name? Not Steven. Was it Steven Baldwin?
Steven Seagal.
No, it wasn't Steven Seagal. Yeah, right. Steven Seagal with the glasses and the camo jacket.
He wasn't invited.
Yeah, he didn't make it down. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know. He was just breaking too many arms
Stephen
and necks.
King?
And yeah, no, it was. I saw
Different Baldwin brother. I'm done now.
What was his name? Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
She was there, and Steve Martin. Steve Martin was there.
He's pretty famous.
But the thing was with them, super cool people.
Right.
Super cool. No arrogance or anything like that. I've always noticed this in a lot of things, even in martial arts and stuff. It's like the people who have like the biggest egos and attitudes and stuff usually have it to compensate for their lack of skill or lack of something.
Insecurity about some area.
Right. So I never really saw it that much in the upper echelon of comics. You don't really see it that often. Right. A lot of times I see it in the lower level comics.
Sure.
Right. And like I said, I'm not upper level yet. I know where my place is. Right. But I'm pushing to get to a level that I consider great.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll never get there. When you're great by someone else's standards, then you'll be like, I'm not great by my own standards.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like we're always comparing ourselves all the time, right?
Well, if you're getting laughs, that means you're doing great.
Yeah.
Isn't that the name of the game?
Definitely so. But what I'm trying to say is that, like a lot of these comics, just stop bickering and going at each other's throats and like trying to lash out and shit, man. It's like we're all in this together, okay? We're all eating the same shit sandwich together, and we need each other a lot more than you think. So let's cut out all this high school shit. Let's smoke some weed and let's get this work.
There you go.
Know what I mean? That's all.
So it sounds like the scene in Toronto and just it kind of
it wore on me
to the point it turned you off to comedy, to stand-up comedy as a whole.
Absolutely, yeah.
That sucks, man. That's sad.
Yeah, and at the same time,
don't let the scene here fuck you up.
No. I've gotten a lot stronger because my experiences have gotten a lot stronger.
I bet.
I'll tell you after that, because I was really training. I was also training and fighting in Muay Thai at the time. And
what is that? What is that?
Thai boxing, the national sport of Thailand. Okay. Basically, it's science of 8 limbs: punches, kicks, elbows, knees, stuff like that. I was fighting at the time.
I'm not going to mess with you. Just
yeah, right.
Not today, my friend.
Not today. How's this for a punchline? Bang! And then you hear a guitar riff. I speed out on my Camaro.
I'm going to stay far away from you.
Exactly. No, but, and at that time, I was fighting in North America, and then I made the decision to live in Thailand for 6 months.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. So, pursue my training there and up my level of fighting there. And basically, at that time, I was figuring out what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to go into acting or whether I wanted to continue fighting or even like become a firefighter, because that's what I was thinking at the time. That's what this girl I was dating at the time suggested. Right. And so, but I remember I during my journeys, I met this one really, really old guy. His name was Al.
In Thailand.
Yeah, in Thailand. He was from America. He was American, and probably one of the most anti-American people ever. Like he didn't.
Yeah, I
like
think
the
you
whole,
get that. Well, that's why they moved. That's why they don't live there anymore. Is because they're not a big fan of.
Exactly.
What's not to love about everything that America and America's government and all of our people do?
I'm proud to be American.
We're perfect. Just ask the rest of the world. Just ask anyone anywhere.
But we had some really great conversations about a lot of topics. And one of the things that he talked about, he told me that he was once a bomber pilot for, I can't remember, I think it might have been the Vietnam War. And after his military career, he had a choice of either becoming a pilot for a commercial airline or becoming a school teacher, right? And at the time, I guess he just chose school teacher because I guess I paid him more money or something like that.
Yeah.
At the time, I guess
Less traveling.
Yeah, but there was something I noticed about him as he said it, and it's like you could see the sadness in his eyes because it really hit
Regrets.
me. Like, yeah, exactly. He was just like, he told me, I regretted making that decision after I did, and I still do to this day because I loved flying. I loved the feeling of being up in the air and traveling to different countries and seeing different things. That was home to me.
Yeah.
Right? And I could see the sadness in his eyes.
And you don't want that.
Yeah,
you want
dude.
to avoid that.
There is
cautionary tale.
Yeah, there is
Regret is bad.
Yeah, man, there is no worse feeling in the world than knowing that you had a chance to do what you absolutely fucking love and you didn't do it.
Yeah. Oh no.
Like that's the worst, bro. And then sometimes I still feel it about certain things. But
it's good to be reminded of this
yeah.
and remind yourself this is good for me to hear. I think.
Yeah, but like I said, that hit me like a brick to the face. And once I figured that out, I was like, okay, I want to move down to LA for acting. I want to focus on being an actor.
So this must have been 2005, 6, 7, somewhere.
Something like that.
Yeah, when you were between after Canada, after Toronto, but before LA.
Yeah. So it was like, I was focusing on acting a lot. Then I was like, one of my friends was like, hey, you know what? Dude, you're an American citizen. You were born in the States. You can legally work down there. Why are you wasting your life in a city where there's no work for you? When you can
Toronto.
work. Yeah, exactly.
Not quite as much opportunity.
Right. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. So I made the decision to move down. It was supposed to be 4 of us, but that got narrowed down to just me.
Wow.
And then there was one long story about that. That's a different story. But I basically made the move in 2008. And while I was down here, just working on things and here and there, I got re-inspired to get back into stand-up comedy by watching stand-up comedy clips. George Carlin was the first one I started. I heard an audio snippet from one of his shows on that documentary Zeitgeist. Remember that one?
I think so, yeah.
Right? And there was a documentary and he made it was one of his religion bits, right? And,
I never watched conspiracy documentaries, just so everyone knows.
No, for sure.
Never.
Of course.
Not me.
At the time I was, right?
Yeah, at the time.
At the time I was like, "Oh my god." And I'm still open to new ideas here and there as long as, there's some sort of evidence to it.
Right, of course.
But no, I remember hearing a snippet from George Carlin's You Are All Diseased special, and it was his religion bit. And I remember hearing it and I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. So I started looking up, a lot more of his comedy and stuff. And I always knew about George Carlin, but I kind of slept on him. Yeah. Right? I didn't realize, like, okay.
It's different generations.
Yeah.
Like, it's annoying when people are critical. Oh, you don't know my generation. Well, then you don't know, but if you find it when you find it, you discover when you discover it. That's all that matters. Not when, not whatever.
But just if, yeah.
No one came out of the womb knowing...
Exactly.
Every stand-up comedian.
Right.
Or anything.
That's actually one of the reasons why I can't stand it when I hear people say like, oh, when they don't know about a movie or a TV show or a certain period of history or whatever. I wasn't born during that time. Yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, I wasn't born during the Salem witch trials, but I know about them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right, that's the opposite. Like, just because you're not born there doesn't mean you shouldn't know, but the people who were born there shouldn't expect everyone to,
Exactly.
People are too uptight.
It's true. And, it's a lot of bullshit and stuff about like things like, I hate when I can't stand when people like try to use age as an insult, right? Because I have like friends from multiple age groups, right? Just a whole plethora of different age groups, right? Because I don't really believe in aging. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I don't, especially when I see people who I train with or I work out with and stuff, I'm working out with people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, just killing it, and then seeing people's in their 20s and teens lagging. Right. So it's like, but anyway.
I was gonna say something. What I was thinking about aging recently was that I feel like it's something that I'm resisting, but also kind of at peace with and accepting. Can you resist something and accept it at the same time? You know what I mean? Because everyone's going to get older, and you're going to show your age in one form or another, because it's just the nature of existence. I mean,
that's why I'm really hoping that eventually we'll be able to find like the cure for like eternal life, eternal youth, and just, you know, invincibility. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'm waiting for that, man. I want that, just because I want to see how far we as humans can actually go. Like, will we ever reach that Star Trek era where it's like we'll just walk up to a replicator and be like, computer, Earl Grey, tea, hot, you know?
I was going to say, hey, hello, welcome to episode number 2,560,000,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's a real number.
It's like, guys, I got to go. I got a booty call on Octon 5. I'll see you in a few light years. When you're gone. But
I think we're both optimists.
Yeah.
A little bit, maybe.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's what keeps us doing what we do, man.
It's good to have hope.
You have to have hope.
I think
you know
so.
What I mean? I mean, it's just like, and that's the thing. If we can't find the cure to live forever, then that means chances are, you know, we hope for an afterlife, but it's very, very possible that we just go in a box and we stay there for all eternity. It's like you had your shot.
Oh, we're getting deep here.
We shut down your computer and you go to sleep. So if we can't find a cure for eternal life, and if this is the one and only shot at life that we're going to have, then we goddamn better do what we love, man.
My grandmother says to live every day to the fullest.
This is some great weed, guys. This is awesome. Super Silver Haze, you are my savior.
He's smoking different shit than me. No, my grandma says to live life to the fullest, and you know she's 197 years old, so she's seen
197.
She's seen a lot of life. No, she's gonna be 99 in November, but
oh damn, I was about to say.
Yeah, no, she's that's probably wise advice. It comes from a place of experience. You know what I wanted to ask you, because we haven't gone on enough tangents already.
What's
but because you said you were fighting, but we didn't really go into that. I just wanted. Does that mean you're actually in competitive
in the ring,
physical fighting where you got injured and hurt and you hurt other people?
Yeah.
Not just training like, I go to the gym on Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah, exactly. The Weekend Warriors.
Or whatever.
Yeah. They got like the hand wraps and the fancy shorts. But
you're talking about physical contact.
Yeah, man. Damn. Yeah, actual physical contact, bro. You know, most of my fights were what we call smokers, which are basically semi-pro / semi-pro. I'm trying to build up my amateur level. Yeah. So it was like most of them was shin pads, 16 or 14 or even 12-ounce gloves, sometimes 10-ounce gloves, headgear, which is sometimes more of a hindrance than it is a protection. But
you can't see. You're sweating.
See,
it's
and plus, it's like when you have this huge thing that absorbs so much energy from a hit, it's like your whole head is moving, right? So, and it's like you don't want to rely on that as well. You want to sharpen your guard anyway. Sharpen your guard, or sharpen your ability to move and evade.
So, how many fights have you had? Bouts?
Sadly, but fortunately, but unfortunately, only 18.
Yeah, that's enough.
Not
you wanted more or less, or
I thought about it because it's like I always thought about
into it
about being like one of my favorite fighters, like some of my favorite fighters from Thailand, like legends like Boakao Banchamek from Thailand, or Sanchai also from Thailand, John Wayne Parr, stuff like that. Like even Clifton Brown, who was one of the guys who I trained with back home. He was like, this dude just collected belts, and he was like a scientist in the ring, dude. Like I loved watching him train and fight and stuff.
You loved it, and you wanted to be great.
Yeah.
You wanted to be as great as you can at it.
And then and then a lot of times I just saw things that were going on that really turned me off about it, especially dealing with like fight promoters and stuff, like who would say they would compensate you with this and that, and then completely just leave you high and dry.
You love the craft and you love the performance, but you don't love the politicking and the drama behind the scenes. Yes. Whether it's martial arts, whether it's comedy.
But
that's part of life, I guess. To some degree.
Unfortunately, it is, right. But at the same time, it's like and then, but that it wasn't just that, but the fact that there was things that there was like drama and stuff happening in my own home gym that I was training at, where it was things that just were just happening around there that I did not like. And I was just like, dude, like all I wanted to do was just train, fight, learn, and get better and excel at what I loved. And this is the shit that I'm putting up with from the people who are calling themselves my team and who are calling themselves family.
Is it more,
you know what I mean?
Speaking about just comedy or the martial arts world, the drama that goes on, do you think it's more, would you consider it more sketchy things going on? Or is it just more high school-y type shit? Like
both.
Combination, yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's probably a gray area where those things overlap.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
that's
There's so
fair-
much.
fair
There's
response.
so much high school bullshit in and out of the ring. It's just so ridiculous. It's insane to me. You know what I mean? It's just, and I don't know. It's I guess it's just a human thing that we eventually that we go through. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for it.
Yeah.
You know, but all I know is that it really just turned me off about it, and I was just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. If this is your MO, this is your modus operandi, you go ahead and do your thing, whatever. I'll be over here.
All right, so we got out of the fight game. We out of Toronto. We went to Thailand. We got inspired by that dude who fucked up his life. No, just kidding. No, he's good.
Yeah. Shout out to Al.
He
Hope
just
he's
had
still
a
alive. I don't know.
self-conscious moment right there. But
Yeah.
okay, so you came to LA.
Almighty Al is looking out for me.
and you're discovering George Carlin, and
Yeah, and then
we will get to Patton Oswalt.
Oh, absolutely.
Hang in there, Patton.
Hang in there, brother. No, like I started watching more and more of George Carlin's comedy and stuff, and I was like getting so inspired to get back into it. And I remember seeing his interviews and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I want to meet this dude. And then, you know, there was a year that I found out that he died. And then I just remember just sitting in my apartment, just bawling my eyes out.
So
It was
you discovered his comedy before you knew he had passed away. Did I have that correct?
no, no.
He passed out. He passed out. He died.
Passed out. Yeah, it was a heat stroke. He just
passed out.
it's like, whoo,
And he never came
dude,
back.
Simi Valley's ridiculous, son.
No, he. You were following. You discovered him, and then he died shortly thereafter. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. And I wanted to meet him, and the next thing you know, a few days later, yeah, he died. I saw it in the articles and stuff, and I just remember just breaking down. And I was like, because I really was inspired to meet him. I really wanted to
Have
just
lunch.
talk to him.
Yeah, no,
he
I'm
was
the same
so
way.
cool.
When
right?
people ask me like, "Oh, who would you ever want to have, lunch with, or get to talk to, someone famous, a public figure?"
Right.
Like he was someone that would be near the top of my list.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he would be like, "What the hell do you think I'm going to do for you? What do you think I'm going to have some amazing words of wisdom or be funny?" Like,
Yeah, exactly. You know,
it's all the build up.
Yeah, but who knows? But then I started watching more stand-up comedy from people like Bill Maher, Joe Rogan, who really inspired me a lot as well. Who else? David Cross, of course, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, funny guys.
Right. Yeah, Kevin Hart stuff. Geez, the list can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Sarah Silverman, Ali Wong.
Yeah.
Right. Great comedy. And then I came across Patton Oswalt. Dun, 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 dun.
And this was
I had to add that comic.
this was right around.
like,
of course, this was right around.
Did that just make your heart jump? I feel it
Something
made
like
your
that.
heart jump.
No, it was a good introduction.
Like I saw your hair just go back like the dude on the Maxell cover. Just
Well, I'm just caught off guard when things that catch me off guard occur.
But yeah.
You do you.
No, but what was
Patton
I gonna say?
Oswalt.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt. Is that where we're at? Well, that's where we're at, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Discovered
yes.
him, and it was
Yeah, it was
shortly after coming to LA and discovering some other comics.
like a lot of the comics, like a lot of comics do make me crack up a lot, but he made me crack up on a whole other level. Like almost there were some times where I'd watch his comedy and his specials and stuff, and I would have to rewind a track over and over and over again because I was literally just like, I couldn't breathe. There were tears in my eyes and stuff. I was just bawling my eyes out.
No, that's a sign that something's pretty funny. If you're rewinding it and playing it again, and it's still funny.
Because I loved his physicalities. I loved his animations, his mannerisms, and I loved. He was very intellectual, and I really, really loved that he had such a nerdy background. You know what I mean?
Into comics
and movies
very
and
much
sci-fi
part of his
and stuff.
act is his nerdiness.
Yeah, and I loved, and what really made me love him the most was that he was like that, and he didn't give a shit. He was like, this is who he was, and he stuck with it. Yeah, and he built a fan base around that, and that's what really caught my eye, and that's what really inspired me, because it's like because remember how, because sometimes as a comic you think to yourself, like the way I said that just now, I felt like I should have a soul patch, like just a soul patch and some spectacle. Because the way I see it as a comic, man.
What about one of those microphones that's like that goes in front of your, like the little, like the church leader,
exactly, just the little mouthpiece like Tony Robbins.
Yes, exactly.
Because the way I see it, everybody.
Yeah.
Positivity is key to a good life.
You preach.
And then everyone's like, yeah, shut up and take my money. But
you're coming from an honest place. We're going to get to this. Honesty and authenticity.
Yes.
That's kind of where this is going.
Absolutely. And he stuck with his guns the whole time and stuff. And he built a fan base on that. And I love that, because there's nothing that makes me happier to see people succeed just by being themselves.
Yeah.
Right? To reach the height of their success by being who they really are.
I feel like this is a recurring theme over and over again when I interview one person from the next. Mm-hmm. Is the idea of that of being authentic and being yourself. And I don't know, I think audiences and the public can see through, I guess, when you're not being authentic.
Absolutely.
Maybe not all the time, but
absolutely,
to some degree.
No, definitely. Sure. I mean, especially one of the things one of my favorite things as well is like, I really listen to a lot of underground rap. My voice just sounded really raspy there. Underground rap.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I really listen to a lot of underground rap. And because I've always loved like the lyricism, like an MC that can spit bars that are so intricate and complex, that just the type of bars that just take you to another dimension.
The rhymes and the subject matter.
Yes, that is like, it's just so awesome to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? No doubt. And the fact that they have a fan base and stuff, and like some of my favorite, like growing up, like, let me put it this way. I always remembered listening to underground rap and stuff. There was one artist that I grew up listening to named Mike Geronimo, right? He was like this underground hip hop artist from New York, right? Sorry, my voice. Holy jeez. Cottonmouth is a biatch. Is that how the kids are saying it now?
I think so. I might use that sometimes.
I've heard all about it on the Facebook.
Do you do voiceovers?
No,
not yet.
I should. I really should, but at the same time, I'm scared. That's just a tale of hey, you're great at acting. We just don't want to see your face.
But they'll give you checks.
That's true. That is a good point. That is very. yes, that is definitely true. But anyway, one rapper I was listening to, Mike Geronimo. He was, rapper out of New York, and he had some ill bars, just really fucking dope for MC. And he had one album came out. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the album, but it had all sorts of great tracks like Time to Build, I'm So High, stuff like that.
And this is also Patton Oswalt's favorite album.
It is also Patton Oswalt's favorite artist. I mean,
it's possible.
Yeah, I know Patton Oswalt definitely listens to some good ass underground rap every now and then.
I bet because that's sort of like a hipstery thing. I'm sure the idea like
maybe he doesn't. I have no idea.
I bet he does.
He could probably just, for all I know, he could probably just be sitting there in his living going, "Fuck black people." No, he wouldn't. No,
I bet you that.
Of course,
I will bet you money that Patton Oswalt has hip hop, rap, or rap albums on vinyl.
Yeah, no, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised. I hope so. I would be blown away if he does, dude. But yeah, that was. But then And then Mike Geronimo, like this one big record label. You remember P. Diddy, right?
I've heard of him.
He signed him. He signed him at the time.
The vodka guy.
Yeah, exactly. The vodka guy, right? The guy in Vegas. Yeah, the guy.
Yeah.
I can't live in Vegas, dude. I don't know how people do it. Holy shit! It's so weird to not have any sources of water around me. Like, I mean, you know.
Is that where he lives?
I mean, big water.
Is that where he lives?
I mean, I saw a lot of billboards that hit him on him saying that he was performing.
Oh, yeah, probably like a residency there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just odd to me just living. I mean, we live in the desert, but they really live in the desert.
Well, they get a nice suite.
You know what I mean? Every time I drive to or from Vegas, I'm always looking at the amount of sand and mountains and just desert out there. That's desertness out there. And all I can think to myself is, I wonder how many people are actually buried out here.
Yeah.
By, people who try to screw over casinos and then they get, tussled off the floor by security and they get their hands broken by Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
And they get buried in
the real life Robert De Niro.
They get buried under a cactus.
Yeah.
It's insane. But anyway, so
Take it to a dark place.
We've been going the amount of rails
Who's
we've
we?
been going on.
Who's we?
Okay, the amount of rails I've been going off of. Like, how is my train still on the track somehow? How am I even? It's probably just off into the mountains.
I'm trying to build new tracks. Working on it. I'm laying the track ahead of you.
All sorts of civilians just being thrown out of windows.
Power of editing.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so Mike Geronimo got signed by P. Diddy, and then P. Diddy just turned him into like this sort of, mainstream bubblegum rap pop guy, like, look at me, and this like shiny jumpsuit and shit.
All style
and
over
the
substance.
album tanked, dude.
Yeah.
The album fucking tanked. It was just because it was not him. It was not who he was, and people can see that. I mean, hopefully people. I mean, some
enough people.
Yeah, hopefully some people
felt that way.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
But yeah, exactly. But the fact that somebody like Patton Oswalt can just be himself and have a fan base for being himself, that was what really drew me into him. Because me as a black comic, I always learned in the comedy business growing up that there are black comics and then there are comics who are black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? Like for example, people like Dave Chappelle or Gerard Carmichael or Quincy Jones or Terrence Washington these are I'm including upper level and
of course.
All sorts of from all different levels. And people like did I mention Dave Chappelle already? I said Dave Chappelle, right? Yeah. Just it's like their material, their content, their originality, their ability to be themselves. It's like you look at them and you're like, damn, they're funny, but yet they also just happen to be black. I love saying that happens to be black. As if it was an accident. It's like, oops, they woke up in the morning.
Straight out of George Carlin.
Yeah, exactly.
Act.
Yeah, exactly. Is it?
I think so.
Wait.
He had a happens to be.
He had the.
I don't remember it exactly, but he had a happens to be.
He's
big.
like happens to be black. It's like, shoot, I can't remember it off the top of my
Maybe
head.
I better not. I don't remember exactly what he says.
But what was I saying?
Talking about black comedians versus comedians who happen to be black.
But then it's like you see the ones I call. I call them the black hacks.
Black hacks,
right? Because it's like I think you'd hear them and it's like the same old shit. It's like, see, this is why white people is different than black people. This is and they'll start humping a stool, or they'll do a Michael Jackson impression.
It's just the mannerisms and then the. Yeah, I get it. We get it.
I mean, I get it. They have a fan base. That's that's great.
Do you think do you think they're not being these types of? I mean, I guess that's the definition of a hack. They're trying to appeal to a certain audience, but in doing so, they're not fully being themselves.
Yeah, I truly see it. I mean, we all experiences it. We all experiences it growing up in our comedy careers. I mean, I know. I can pretty damn well guarantee that I've had some very, very hacky moments. Right?
Yeah, you gotta fail. You gotta bomb. Everyone bombs.
Absolutely.
Patton Oswalt has bombed.
Yeah, definitely. And eventually you break out of it, right?
Hopefully.
But one of the things that's always in my mind sometimes is like when I look at comics like that who are doing all the usual cliche stuff and stereotypes
Right.
and so on, I think to myself, damn, is this how I have to be to make it? Because like,
Nah, man, don't
I
think
hope
that
not.
like that.
Yeah,
No.
sometimes it comes to my mind. I think to myself, do I have to, you know, pretend to be something that I'm not? Pretend to be somebody that I in no way am? You know what I mean? Did that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I feel like
Right.
just seeing comics perform, like some of the, obviously you have to have well-crafted jokes and
Yeah.
a million things that go into it, but just seeing people who are self-deprecating to some degree and make fun of themselves, I don't know, that,
Can look at their own imperfections.
yeah, and laugh at themselves, that seems to draw audiences in, and then, if you start with that, then I feel like the ensuing material seems to I don't know, you've already won them over by, you have to be, I feel like anyone who's gets on a stage to try to do comedy has to be, I guess, confident, but also self-deprecating at the same time.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
that fair?
Well, it's definitely just seeing, like knowing their imperfections and, just making light of it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so tell me more about some of those different
What's that?
Patton Oswalt specials.
Oh, the Patton Oswalt special. Yeah. I remember them being, No Reason to Complain. That was a really good one. That's where I first saw him because he had like, the way he was like, I think it was a 2004 special. I think it was that. And I just right off the bat when he came out and, the standing ovation and everyone was cheering and stuff. And he's like, yes, okay, thank you. And everyone's still cheering loud and stuff. And then he's just like dropping to his knees. It's just like, please let me start.
Yeah.
And I just died laughing immediately. And I was like, oh, and then he just went right into this and just this random shit. Just like, he was like, now they told me that the treasure was underneath a giant O because there was a huge O in the theater. It was the way the stage was designed.
Yeah.
And then the camera panned out to that. And it was just like, oh my God, this guy's ridiculous. And just seeing his delivery and just his mannerisms and stuff, like his Black Angus bit is classic. His Black Angus bit, his Stella Dora breakfast treats bit is fucking gold. Like if you see the way if you look up a clip on him, like just on his belly.
Yeah.
No. If you look
Clips
up
are all over him.
a clip of Patton Oswalt, Stella Dora breakfast treats, it is the most hilarious shit ever because just his mannerisms and stuff and his facial expressions, he's just like, you're just sweet cookies, you can have them anytime.
Yeah,
and
he
it's
gets animated.
right. And he's like, if you can have them anytime, why do they call them breakfast treats? And I'm just sitting there dying. I'm laughing my ass off. And
That's a contradiction. He is correct.
yeah, but I loved just that, his physicality, his animation, and his material, his content about him, and the way he was just a lot of times just random and nerdy and stuff. And it inspired me because it's like I loved seeing that. And then seeing his My Weakness is Strong bit with the B word fat bit, which just had me in tears, just laughing my ass off. I could not stop. That whole special was great. His Finest Hour bits, his special, they were all great. With his I Want All the Ham bit, is you got to look that up as well. It was just like, I want all the ham. And then because he talks about going to this grocery store, with like a list or something. Or he was going up to the deli at a grocery store with a list in his hand of things he wanted to buy, like get his sandwich, right? And then this dude was like in front of him and just immediately went, I want all the ham. And then he ran out.
In that voice?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
And then he talked about how he like if somebody came and saw that whole scene of him, that guy saying I want all the ham and him running out, he might have come to like a parallel universe where he had to find a warrior that would save humanity.
Wait, so he left the deli when that guy said that because it was just so unnerving.
He was cracking up.
Oh, because he was laughing.
Yeah, or just I guess he was.
That
like,
would
laughing
I might have to hold back.
Yeah,
laughter.
but he talks about like the way he waddled in with the list and stuff. He was like, I'm clearly woozy from the time tunnel and I have to deliver this message to this warrior and I'm almost there. And then immediately I see him, but then he talked about having the ham being the warrior's weakness that would kill him. And he's just like, I want all the ham. And he's like, oh no, he runs out. We have to find another warrior.
There's big hams in those glass containers.
Yeah.
The big hams. Somebody just
Exactly.
wants that whole
Those are killer hams,
things.
man.
Yeah.
Killer hams. And then, I watched his more of his specials. Finest Hour was a great one. What's another one that there was another one that he did. I loved his audio album, Werewolves and Lollipops. That was a great album because he has a great bit on that from where he talks about birthdays, which is just brilliant because you just see it build up and build up. Like he goes through like a lot of like each age group and stuff. And then he talks about like
funny observations.
Yeah, he talks about how his whole thing is he talks about how he doesn't think that we should basically get to a point where we're only having a birthday every 10 years, right? And that's it, right? Because and then as you get older, you get like different perks and stuff. He's like, if you can make it to 90, starting at 90, every year, one law no longer applies to you.
That's fair.
Like you can just start by you can at 90 you can legally litter, right?
Yeah, why not?
And then he talks about like how when you reach 100 and I think it was 100 you can legally when you reach 95 you can legally steal anything you want, right? Because if you can't stop on 90, if you have something and a 95-year-old can take it from you, it wasn't yours to begin with.
Fair enough.
Oh, dude, it's a brilliant bit. I'm just like, it's one of those bits where as a comic you sometimes think, oh my God, it's so brilliant. I wish I thought of that. It's so amazing to listen to how he builds up and builds up and builds up. And then he just builds it and then brings it into another routine. And he starts talking about George Bush and so on and so forth. And I'm like,
the transitions.
My God.
These guys are pros.
Brilliant stuff. Like, especially watching him, Joe Rogan, all that stuff. It's just brilliant to see it all come together.
You know what I remember Patton Oswalt from? I remember he was on Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist. You ever seen that show?
No.
But you know about it. It used to be on Comedy Central in like the late 90s, and I'm sure you can find it on YouTube online.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I got it.
It was this comic, Jonathan Katz, but he was a therapist. It was animated, and he would have comics on the show sort of doing their bits, but doing them like from a therapist's chair and
Right.
the psychologist or whatever.
Oh, that's classic.
And they would animate the bits above their heads in like thought bubbles or whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely check that out. Squiggle. It's like it takes a minute to get used to because the picture.
I definitely gotta check that
Yeah,
out.
I'll send that to you.
I wonder how many people out here in LA have therapists. Because
All
even
of them?
now, oh my goodness, because even now I'm starting to look up one, and I'm thinking to myself, well, this is because like it's so good that we're gradually getting out of that bullshit stigma about therapy is for weak people and stuff like that, or you gotta be a man and blah 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 and all this other shit. It's like, no, it's like you gotta talk about your feelings, you gotta vent this stuff out, you gotta do it because it is therapeutic for
I
your
talk
body.
too much about my feelings. That's why I'm not in therapy.
Yeah.
I'm talking too much about it. It's keeping me out.
Right.
Let's go for a walk around the block. That's my therapy.
No, definitely, but it's like it's finding the things that'll get you out of your head, out of that negative headspace,
Right.
Because that shit is killer, man. I mean, literally, because like that's one of the things, keeping that shit bottled up, all that negativity bottled up inside of you. That shit is poison, dude.
Yeah.
Because that I think that's
that's what some world leaders have inside of them. And and that leads to bad things.
it can definitely manifest itself in different ways. And some people, you can become the biggest asshole on the planet, shooting bombs over here and there, or you I don't know, you like going around beating up old folks or kicking kids in the teeth.
Yeah, these people are not happy people.
Yeah.
From what I gather.
Or you take it out on you take it out on your loved ones, or you take it out on yourself and you off yourself, man. Like
Damn.
No,
We're getting
for
dark.
real. That depression. I have my bouts of depression too.
Yeah.
That shit's real, man. That shit is not okay. And it's good that people are acknowledging that now and getting themselves more help and stuff.
No,
So,
for sure. For sure.
And it's one thing to go to family and friends, but they can only do so much.
Just having a neutral person, I think, is sometimes helpful, and someone who's intelligent and empathetic or whatever. That helps too. But just someone who's not invested in you, someone who's separated a little.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things I found out that I learned as well is like sometimes a lot of great comedy comes from the deepest, darkest places. Of
course.
Right? Sometimes, not all the time, right? But quite often. Right?
Anger, pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, I've loved Patton Oswalt's material.
So then you just got back into comedy because you were inspired by George Carlin and
Yeah, and then
Patton
you know,
Oswalt and all these guys.
Yeah, all
and
these
then
guys.
how did it go from there once you started getting back on the stage?
And then, well,
starting to write.
Actually, it didn't stop there. I actually saw this one little YouTube video from a former teacher of mine now, Greg Dean, right? And then he was talking about his comedy workshops and so on and so forth. And then there was a lot of things that he said in his YouTube video. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's get back into comedy. So I started training under him, and then started, getting out to open mics and showcases and, just learning.
Yeah. You just went through the process.
Yeah. I just went through the process. Right. And then, after Greg Dean and I parted ways, still good friends, but, just that's a different story. After that, I started, training with Greg Wilson and learning even more stand-up comedy and more skills and more techniques and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and you take all these people, you make it your own kind of thing.
Absolutely. And then just learning to just bring out the organic me. Cool. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that's been happening a lot recently, and it's really fun to see it happen. You know what I mean? It's really awesome to see. It's like to look at your past material and how you were before, and then to see yourself evolving, and then to look at your material now and see the real you coming out into the material. And it's like,
is that the most satisfying or the most clear, bar method that you can see that your progress? When you look back on years ago versus where you are now, do you notice like your stage presence is different, your delivery, the way you talk, or just your confidence, or just the craft of the joke? Or is it really what you're saying, just more than anything, just the more the true you is coming out? Is that the main thing?
The true you it'll definitely come out. The true you will definitely come out, and you will learn how to make it your own. That's the one thing I learned through my martial arts training. That's the one thing I learned through dancing, through house dancing and stuff, because I was doing a lot of freestyle dancing for a while and stuff. And it's one thing. It's like to learn certain techniques and a certain way of doing things, to practice that, to hone that skill, and then to make it your own, make it part of your own stuff. Right. It's like learning, like food, like learning how to cook a certain item. Right. And then, and obviously you go through trial and error. Yeah. Right. Sometimes you do good. Sometimes you burn your kitchen down. Right. I didn't burn I almost burn
half your kitchen down.
No. Yeah. I almost came close to burning my kitchen down. There was a lot of smoke. But eventually I learned how to get better and better. And then you eventually learn how to add your own flavor to the dish. This is
You really burn your kitchen down?
Super silver haze. It's a great weed.
I didn't
sativa.
realize that you were being serious there.
No, I didn't. No, but there was
everyone has a fire that shoots up at some point in their kitchen, a few feet in the air.
No, dude.
For whatever
reason.
It
was because I was trying to cook Thai food for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was teaching myself how to cook Thai fried rice. And I didn't realize the amount of speed and preparation that you needed to prepare that dish, because I was
timing. There's a lot of timing involved.
Yes.
No, that's not right.
I had none of that. I was going at a snail's pace, while I'm working with this hot wok that's filled with oil, steaming up and smoking up through the kitchen.
What is the native food to Toronto, to Canada? What's maple syrup? What is Toronto known for cuisine wise?
We have a huge.
I've been there, but I don't.
We have a huge diverse cuisine over there. It's a very multicultural city.
That's true. Yeah.
Not meaning that everybody gets along, but it's a very multicultural
it's different kinds
city.
Of food. That's what we're saying. We're not
exactly. Right. We may eat together, but I'm not going to fucking like you.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, it's a huge mix of all sorts of Asian foods and East Indian foods and Caribbean foods and just all sorts of stuff, man. And
that's what you should be sticking to.
Yeah.
Maybe those things or some your native Toronto food.
Oh, dude, there's so many things. I miss a lot of the familiarities of Toronto. Like, it's hard to find a good chicken roti out here in LA. It's hard to find good West Indian food, Caribbean food out here, man. Like you can go in Toronto and just turn your head like a good 180, you'll find a West Indian restaurant.
Yeah,
that
well, they
serves-
get no tacos up there. We got more tacos
dude,
out
yeah,
here.
exactly.
So,
More tacos
every
than
place
out
is
here.
different. What are you going to do?
We've substituted roti for enchiladas and burritos. We've substituted peas and rice and dude. Now I'm thinking about now the weed munchies have kicked in.
no.
You see this? Now I'm thinking about like some curried goat with some peas and rice and some oxtail and some plantain. What? Boy, you're crazy,
You like Caribbean food.
Sorry, plus I
chicken.
also my everybody in my family from the mom side, well, what's left of them was a like of a Caribbean background.
Yeah.
So it's like because they're all from St. Kitts.
It's in the blood.
Yeah, so it's like, sometimes I'll break out into that patois,
Sure.
and it's so awesome because nobody understands that down here, and I love seeing the look of utter confusion whenever I.
There's been multiple times where I've been confused, on this end, but that's okay.
'Cause I saw your face just now. You're just like, what the fuck is happening?
It's okay. It's okay not to understand everything. Well, tell me more about where you're at with comedy. These days, and after you're when you start to get back into it, up until these days, and Patton Oswalt's influence on you, and where you're at with your fandom for him.
Yeah, I still love the guy, man. I still love Patton Oswalt.
You never met him.
Never met him yet. I would absolutely love to meet him.
Have you seen him perform live?
Not yet, and that is my goal as well. There was one time where he was down at the Improv, and I couldn't make it because I had a show that day and stuff, and I couldn't make it in time. And I was like,
He's here. Doesn't he live here and do shows?
In Burbank, apparently.
Yeah.
I think he lives in Burbank. Possibly.
Yeah, he's pretty close.
I know where you live, Mr. Oswald.
Yeah, just drive around up and down.
Yeah,
zigzag
exactly.
or
Just
whatever.
just all over Magnolia, through Burbank, Empire Center, Town Center,
all of it.
But no, I'd love to meet him. I'd love to see his stuff, and he just inspired me to just keep being myself and just sticking to my guns and tell my truth. Comedy my goal is to try to bring people into my world,
Sure,
and have them be glad that they're there. You
Right.
know, so
in being yourself, there's a universal appeal to that. I think
absolutely, man. It's like there was one of my comedian friends, Jessica Lee Corks. I don't know if I always wonder if I'm pronouncing her last name right, if it's Corks or Corquez, but then there's no S. There's no S. There is an S. There's no Z at the end.
Yeah.
In Canada, we say Z. There's no Z at the end of her last name or something in Corks. I'm like, I hope I don't offend her.
I think just by going through all that, she'll appreciate that you didn't.
Yeah.
As long as you don't assume. I feel like when you assume someone's last name and get it wrong.
Yeah, then
I guess you can guess if you're like, I'm 80% sure this is right. You just put it out there and you don't correct yourself or offer any disclaimers.
One time I was at an airport. I was going to New York for these fights, and one of the guys who was fighting in my camp. We were waiting for our flight. The gate attendant calls his name like Rick Sanita, and it's like he's Italian. It's supposed to be Rick Sanita.
Yeah.
Right. And he comes up. He's like, it's Sanita. She's like, I don't care if it's Sanita or Sanita or whatever. You in America and babbity bibbity babbity scoobity baboo babbity boo bee babadoo. Right. So it's just
That guy might not have been having a great day.
Yeah, exactly. But
either of those people at that moment.
Like it's one thing to not know it, but to not know it and think that you're right, that's one of the things I'm not down with. But anyway, tangent.
That's America, though.
Tangent.
It's not about being right. It's about yelling the loudest and thinking you're right with the most confidence.
Yes.
That's all you have to do. That's America. Come on, man.
Exactly.
Why don't you tell me about what you're working on these days, upcoming shows, how people can find you, all that? And,
floor's yours. I'm basically trying to get out wherever I can right now. I'm definitely looking to break into the San Diego industry, the San Diego circuit down there. It's a really, really fun town to perform. Sacramento, I'm trying to aim for that as well.
Up and down the coast.
Just get wherever.
You're up and down the coast, my friend.
Yeah, that's just trying to get my name out there as much as I can. Just trying to, like I said, just doing my best to become undeniable.
Right.
And then
That's good. I
and
like
then,
that.
you know, we conquer. Then we conquer the world.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Megatron, yes. See, this is what happens when you watch too much TV, play way too many video games. Video games. Let me try that again. Can we rewind that? Jesus.
I might.
That's what happens when you watch way too many movies, play way too many video games, and smoke way too much weed. But
but despite all that, or inspired by all that, you're a doer, man.
Try it. I do what I can.
You're active. That's good. I like that.
Absolutely, man. That's hell. Some of my best workouts are when I'm high.
Yeah.
But I just try to keep the ball moving and stay focused on why I moved down here. What was I trying to say?
No, I was gonna say how people can find you as well.
Oh yeah. You can follow me on social media, JAYP_Brown365. Shameless promo, yeah. No, that's
not shameless. I asked for it.
I know. So you can find me there. You can find me Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I do Twitch streams like every Thursdays. You can find me there. Same handle, JAYP_Brown365. And I post up all my shows and where and when I'm performing on my social media. And
JP Brown, JAYP
Brown,
P period.
Yeah,
Brown.
no period.
No, oh shit.
Well, I mean, not in the handle.
No, not in the handle.
Yeah, not in the handle. On paper, sure, you can, JAYP Brown, but yeah, that's about it.
Oh, I think people know now. I think we've covered it.
Damn it! I completely forgot the point that I was trying to make.
Oh, there was more points.
Yeah, because remember that I started talking about my friends. We were talking about last names, and they were. Jessica Lee Corks.
Yeah.
Jeez, holy shit!
No.
How long did it take to get back to that? How much time do we have? Are we still good?
Yo, we're still running. The tape is still running.
Oh my goodness! But no, we were hanging out one time, outside the Comedy Store. We just finished watching some of the comics in the OR. In the original room, and we're just smoking some weed and just chilling out and stuff. Or actually, no, I just finished smoking some weed and I was high as hell. It was me, Alan Squats, and Jessica Lee Corks. We were just hanging out, chilling out and stuff. And I can't remember the way I was reacting for certain things, because I was high.
Yeah.
But I remember Jessica just kind of laughing, and I was like, "Whoa, what's so funny?" She was just like, she just said, "I really like it when dudes can just be themselves."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
hell yeah.
I've got no other way to be, man.
That's right.
This is me. This is who I am. And if you like me, great. If you don't like me, okay.
That's my inner monologue, man, all day long. For the most part.
Yeah, I can only be me, and that's it.
I like that. That's a good way. That's a good way to end this.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Sammy Davis Jr. I got to be me. He just comes out of nowhere with his slicked back hair and shit.
You're absurd, my friend.
He can't because he's dead. All right,
that's true. R.I.P.
Yeah, exactly.
For real. Thanks for coming by, man.
Oh, dude, thanks for having me, dude. It was a blast.
Oh, you got it. Talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Peace and chicken grease, y'all.
So there you have it. My interview with J.P. Brown. I don't know about you guys, but I think I got high just from listening to that interview. What a journey. For real, though, J.P. is a funny dude. And I'm truly inspired by seeing how hard he works and how hard he hustles. And I thank him for his time. You can follow this show, of course. People We Love on Instagram and Twitter. Just look for the red logo, white letters, People We Love. And there's also a Facebook page, and the show is, of course, on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, all that. Leave me a review on iTunes. That would be cool. I appreciate it. And yeah, there's a website coming. I have a real domain and everything, so that's gonna happen. And be on the lookout for that. But I think that's about all I got for today. So y'all take care now. Have a good rest of your day. Stay safe. Peace.